Welcome to Sunday. July 16th. Corn smut, a fungus that swells kernels on the cob, is a Mexican culinary delicacy called something I can't pronounce. Does anybody else know how to pronounce that? I should probably look it up. Huitlacock? Maybe? I want to go back a page, only because it's pretty important. Microbes in wet hay bales may cause spontaneous combustion. You might hear about, wet hay bale fires. And yeah, it's not because it's too wet. It's because the microbes actually create a lot of heat as they process the hay bales, as they munch down on the hay bales and process them down. And I have tried this, and it is mighty tasty. I really enjoyed eating fungus. And if you like mushrooms, you'd probably like it too. So, a pretty simple video today. I'm going to show you how I sterilize soil. This soil has all been used. Some of it is potato soil. A little bit is soil from onions that I just picked. Some of it is recycled soil from plants, like this one, that didn't sell. And I just dump it out. It has roots in it, but that's okay. It's okay to have some roots in there. We will take care of that. It's important to note the difference between sterilizing and rehydrating. Now everybody without fail should be using boiling water to sterilize, to put in their brand new starting mix. Starting mix should contain no fertilizer whatsoever. Seeds have all the food they need until they get big enough to stand out on their own, which is usually when they have a set of true leaves and they start their own food making process. Now, the fertilizer, a lot of this has had fertilizer in it, but the fertilizer's been used up. I stop using fertilizer pretty well before I finish harvesting the plant. And the fertilizer in this cup, of course, has been gone for a long time. So, all I need to do is make sure that there are no little buggies, no bug eggs, no larvae, no nothing living in this soil. I'm going to use boiling water to do that. I also use a plain fork. You can sieve this out and sieve all the roots out. Also, another important thing is make sure that you're only using soil from plants that have been clean. This is a clean plant. If I were to dump this out into here, it'd be just fine. The plants that have obvious fungal problems, don't reuse that soil. It's going to be very difficult to ensure the safety of any plants that you put in there. Use soil from plants that have been proven pretty healthy. While the soil is dry, just run through it and you can see I get a lot of stuff. I'll just clean that up later. There we go. This won't be perfect. I like to use soil that is dry. It makes it easier because if it's already wet, then I'm just making the soil soggy and it's going to be very difficult for me to handle it later on. I think yep, that's pretty much it. So now I've pretty much gotten all the big chunks out. This important to me. You can use any amount you like. This is 4 gallons or 4 of these in here. I do this because after I finish sterilizing this, I will put fertilizer back in it. And I will show you how I do the sterilization process now. All right, I like to use about 8 cups of boiling water, which is a full teapot full. Use gloves. You do not want to be touching this soil when it gets boiling hot. You know, starting with dry soil, I just thought of this. Starting with dry soil will also help kill off some of the fungus that depends on moisture. There's another good reason to start with as dry a soil as you can. Let it just sit in the pot or pour it out onto a tray and let it sit there. Just keep pouring it back and forth and mixing it up. You can use a spoon, you can use, you know, whatever you like, as long as your hands aren't touching the boiling hot water. Oh, uh-oh. I found a potato. Look at that. Boiled potato. Another good reason to spread your mix out. You'll be finding little surprises inside your soil. Now your soil does not have to be completely wet at this point, because the next thing we're going to use is a plastic bag. I like to use black plastic. Get your soil into a pile. You can see I still have dry clumps here, but that's okay. Just use the last little bit of boiling water there. Does not have to be an especially expensive bag. I've been using this for weeks now. Just a regular old trash bag will do. Cover it and tuck it in underneath your soil. Try to get all the soil under the plastic bag. Ooh, it is very, very hot. Very hot. Now, here's the part. Here's the part that is very difficult. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. Leave it until it is cool. It's probably going to take all day. So try starting this, when you have, in the morning or in the evening, when you just before you go to work, or whenever you have a long space of time to just leave it alone and not touch it. Don't worry about it. Don't fuss with it. Don't poke it. Just let it sit there. Let the boiling water do its job. The steam is going to make its way through the layers and kill off almost everything. There are some fungus, there's some bacteria that even boiling water won't kill. You would need chemicals for that, and I promise sometime in the future I will go over that. This time I'm going to keep it simple. So we're just going to leave this alone for the day. Alrighty, here we are, 9 hours later. Yep, completely and utterly cool. And look at here. The very first thing after this you want to check for is to make sure when you take that plastic off, nothing is moving or wriggling in the soil. If it is, the only thing this soil is going to be good for is compost. But definitely nothing alive in here. Anything that can survive boiling water, we don't want in our pots. Now we can take the time to, if you haven't actually filtered any of this, now is a good time to break down a lot of the lumps. You can also take your fork again, run it through. You might pick up a bit more. Yeah, a little bit, a few more roots. Not a whole lot. Right. Now, because I know exactly how much soil I have, I can reintroduce fertilizer to it. I like Lily Miller for a lot of the overwintered plants, the plants I'm not selling. 1, 2, 3, 4, and of course, if I do decide to sell the plants that I plant with this, I will let people know that I used a non-organic fertilizer. But I just can't afford at this stage to, even though I've gotten paid for my season, I can't afford to run out and get more fertilizer with no reasonable expectation of making large sales. This potting tray has been one of the best buys I have actually made. I'll put the link down below where I got it. It's sturdy, it fits, it's easily washable. I love the little tray. The little tray on top is extra. This has saved me from bending over a bucket many times in the last month. Lovely. Now, I like to reuse Come on, poor little hyssop. Dried out hyssop. You're gonna have a better life now. Here, get the see how the bottom roots are all really, so I just rip off the bottom. There, be good. I'm trying to salvage as many of these hyssop plants as I can because they are incredibly valuable, especially the second year when they come back and they flower and people are really impressed by them. Right, there we go. And here is your little tag. Here's my little hyssop plant. And I have at least 3 gallons left, plus a little bit I had before that had fertilizer in it. I just add that in. Now I can stick this in a bucket if I want to, if I need to use the potting tray for something else. And remember to smell it. It should smell like clean compost or just the potting soil that you had originally. This should not smell of mold. It should not smell of slime. It should not smell like spoiled milk. If it does, out in the compost or in the garbage, if you have no compost pile, don't use it if it smells bad. This should smell like potting soil or clean earth. That is all it should smell like. And it is as simple as that.